almost the weekend here, folks. It's just been one of those weeks that was kind of quiet, but not kind of quiet at the same time, if that's humanly possible. But it's been one of those weeks that I honestly thought that it would never finish off as the way it did. At work, we're still down a person in our group, and we desperately need somebody to be there during the daytime shift to help us out taking calls and all that. And we're basically trying to find somebody else to hire up temporarily because the girl that's supposed to be there is actually on maternity leave for the next year or so, and she'll be back soon after that. But since she just got out of her pregnancy and all that, it's going to take a little while for her to get everything settled down and back into somewhat of a routine. And that's where we're kind of short manpower on it, and we need to get somebody there to actually help out. And we've been trying to bug our manager, saying, look, we really need the manpower that badly here. And it's just a matter of getting the right people in to do the work and all that. That's the major problem that we're having at this point, and we don't really see what's coming in the background and all that, and it makes it even harder. And we've been stressing out somewhat more than usual in regards to our talk time and taking calls and all that, and getting emails out and all those appropriate stuff. Basically, myself and one other person, which is a colleague of mine, that have been doing what we've been doing and clearing the calls as much as possible and all that. And even we are just getting so bloody tired and getting everything done all at the one time. And it hasn't seemed to improve that much, even though we would like to. And it's hard to read the upper management regarding that. So that's the one thing we have to realize, is that upper management doesn't always see or doesn't always tell us the exact truths in what's happening. So it makes it that much harder to do what we need to do and do it properly. So I'm hoping that we will hire a couple other people to get the work done, get what needs to be done, and all that good stuff. So just recently, I just have off on the camera, off on the side here, I had bought 2 other batteries for Rotary for my tools, because last night my charger decided to die on me. So I'm going to be ordering sometime this week a new charger with dual charging capabilities on it, that I can charge 2 batteries at the same time, and get 2 more 4 amp hour high performance batteries as well, because one of them that I have, or actually there's 2 of them that are exact same models, but the serial number is slightly different, which were 3 amp hour batteries. So with that one there, one of the 2 had actually died on me last night, or during the daytime when it was being charged, and it's no longer holding a charge. And I tried already some of the suggestions that others have already done regarding it, and it hadn't made a dent into it at all. So at this point, for that particular battery, I can actually write it off. And the older 1.3 amp hour batteries that I do have are no longer holding a charge, and they're not really worth that much anyhow. So I'm just better off getting a new set of batteries. So I've stuck with the basic 4 ampere batteries that Ryobi has for them. So that way I at least have a set of batteries already in place, and picking up another 2 more 4 amp hour batteries. What I am planning to do, if the batteries are still cheap, they do have some 12 amp hour batteries that I would like to buy a pair of them for about $350, and that's on special right now. So if I can get those ones as well, I'll be even better off, because they last longer and they have longer run time on them because of the higher amp hours on them. So it will depend on the tool itself that I'm actually using them with, that it will either last longer or be about the same depending on the tool that I'm using for. So like, for example, my stick vacs, I know with a 12 amp hour battery, it would run fantastic on it, but because it's too heavy, it will tend to move around quite a bit and be top heavy. So that's not really beneficial for something that I would do vacuuming, like say like once a week. But if it was something like doing a lot of circular saw cuttings or jigsaw cuttings, drilling, things of that nature, it might be worthwhile having those around for just that, for the longer runtime on it. So at this point, I'm holding off on that until I need tools that require that much more power in them. My Sawzall works great. Everything else works great. My blower should be fine with that as well for the 12 amp hour. But for something like I don't know, like if you're cutting wood and all that, 12 amp hour might be a little bit too much. But yet again, depending on how much you're going to be cutting too, so that has to take into consideration and the way it's going to be run. So at this point, I'm just waiting for those things to charge up, and I'm going to quickly run with them, run with one of the two tomorrow or both of them to clean it, to do some vacuuming with them. So it's just to give them a run test on it to see how well they last in comparison with the other ones that I have used, the high capacity and the high performance. These ones are the base models, which is the lowest tier on them. I do expect them to be not as good as the high performance, but at least something to work with, just because they are 4 amp hour batteries and they're supposed to last around 45-50 minutes, depending on the tool themselves. Vacuum cleaner is definitely for sure around 45 minutes per battery, so that's a good thing with that. And I've noticed too, with my other colleagues that have DeWalt batteries or DeWalt tools, and they notice a difference too. And my friend always had like 1.5, 2 amp hour batteries, and then he went to a 4 amp hour. He noticed the difference between the power between one and the other, and he was surprised. And I said, "Oh yeah, this is what you get when you pay for those type of batteries." And he didn't realize how much more power that's in them with the larger size. So I told him, I said, "Yeah, you got to take a look into it." And I wasn't harping him to go with another brand, but I just told him because he decided which brand he wanted to be on. And I told him, I said, "Look, it may be slightly more expensive, but in the long run, you'll be better off with it, for his case." And he notices a big difference, and he's enjoying using the tools much more with those larger batteries. So this is a learning curve for everybody who has power tools, electric. Some of them, sometimes it's good to have electric ones, like battery operated ones as an example, because you don't have to be tied to an outlet. Others where it's going to be like as an example, a small bandsaw or a circular table where you're going to be doing a lot of cutting of large sheets, like 4x8s, things like that, then yeah, go with a corded selection. Battery operated ones are good, but again, you're tied to the amp hours and how long they can actually cut for. But if you need something just for a quick cut, okay, the 4 amp hour should be fine for small cuts. But if you're doing large sheets on a continuous basis, it's better off having it corded in, and you can use an extension cord of some sort to actually cut through them. So that'll be a lot easier to work with. So I've noticed that quite a bit too with other things that I do have certain tools that I need to have corded and others that need to be cordless. So that's the one thing I've learned, especially working outside, and you're not close to a cord as an example. And I like this because this last weekend I actually I actually did a cleanup of the driveway and walkway because we had a hailstorm that weekend, and it brought down quite a bit of the seedlings from the maple tree that we have in the front yard. And using that there cleared it up quite a bit. So there was a lot of seedlings that I actually grew onto the what you call it, street, and then just pushed them over in front of the garden in front, so that way they can actually get picked up, because there's always a street cleaner coming every so often, once every couple of weeks, to street clean the streets. So did that, they took it, no problems, and it was perfectly fine. As for this weekend here, I'm not doing that much things there. I did receive a couple of odds and ends, like an external DVD player that I have for my little desktop that I have here, my tiny desktop from Lenovo. I've been needing to have one of these around just because I like to do some copying of some shareware games and all that, and things that I like to back up onto DVDs. So I figured that would be nice to have around, since my tiny Lenovo doesn't have a DVD player or a DVD burner in it. So I got that for it, and it can still play DVDs and all that, the regular ones, like for the movie, like what you see from the movies and all that. So it works out well. And also today too, when I was at the Home Depot to get the batteries, I was taking a look at the specials that they have for tools, just to see what's happening there, just to see what's going down. And there's not that many tools that I'm really, really, that I absolutely need to have. But there are some things that I can probably use that, probably can use those. Again, it depends on what I was looking for and what I needed it for. So, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. And I'm going to take a look further to see what I really need and order from there as I need them. Because I really need to get working on the outside to get things done, and probably get some help with my friend there, Steve, who's a longtime friend and a longtime mentoree that I've helped out getting into his current position, and to help each other out. So I'll make this actually short. It's going to be no longer than I would say about 15, 20 minutes the most. You guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys another time, and I'll see you later. Catch you then.